All right, so I am at the shelter. Made it here. Left Newfound Gap about 8:30 from shuttle up from Gatlinburg. Leanne was my shuttle driver, and she did a great job. Thank you, Leanne. Appreciate it. The shuttle cost $40. What she charged me up from Gatlinburg, and she had to come pick me up yesterday at Standing Bear Hostel on the other side of 40 there off, I believe it's Green Mountain Road. So she picked me up there, and that was about a 45-minute drive one way for her, so that's an hour and a half. So she charged $75 to come and get me, bring me to Gatlinburg, then another 40 up to Newfound Gap. So I didn't call anybody else. Might could have got it cheaper, but at this point, $10, $5, I'm not worried about it. Leanne did a great job. Would recommend her again to anybody that needs a shuttle. So back to my hike. So I made it up here from left, like I said, about 8:30. Got here at 4:30. So that's what 8. That's about 8-hour day. So 8-hour day of hiking. Can't remember. I'll flash it down here at the bottom here. How far that is? I can't remember what it was. I think it's right around 12 miles, something like that. But the gap down at Newfound Gap is pretty good folks out there, but once I got past Charlie's Knob, I only saw 2 people. Well, I'm taking it back, 3 people. One of them, well, I think all 3 of them were thru hikers. I know 2 of them were. And the second one, his name was Beanpot. So Beanpot, he was kind enough to stop, and we chatted for a while and got to know Beanpot a little bit. All right, so appreciate that, Beanpot. And look forward to you summiting down at Springer in 9 days from today. So by the time this video gets out, you may only have just a few days left. So look forward to seeing that down there. The hike was a good hike. It was not near as strenuous or arduous as coming from on the south side. Not near as tuckered out today. So and tomorrow is going to be I did most of my ups already. So tomorrow is going to be even less ups and more downs. So I think I gained most of my altitude already. So I am going to, right now I'm here at the shelter by myself. Hadn't seen hide nor hair of anybody. The water source here is flowing. It's if you can call it flowing, although it took me, I don't know, 4 minutes, less than 5 minutes to fill up a 2-liter dirty water bag. So that's really not that bad. I've seen it a lot worse, seen it a lot better. But anyway, right now the water is flowing there. So I'm going to go and update gut hooks. If you have gut hooks and you're out on the trail, please update that, particularly the water points because nobody's updated water points in this section since like 2018. So nobody knows where stuff's going to dry. It'll be updated by me as soon as I get done here, the water points. So because there was a lot of dry water points here. And actually I called the backcountry office and they said the north was wet. So they said it was fine. So fine is a relative term. I haven't had a problem with water, but there are some places that, particularly on gut hooks, that show there's water and there ain't. So anyway, I'm getting ready to cook me something to eat, and then it will be hiker midnight probably by that time. Hang everything up and pop some sleeping pills like I talked about before. That was something that I added to my pack this time. And you know what? We haven't talked about my loadout this time. So why don't we go ahead and talk right now and go over my loadout? Let's do that. All right, so there is my layout of what I'm going to be hauling. And yes, that is all going to get into my pack, my Exos 58 Offspring. So let's go ahead and look at what we got here. So I got my Frog Togs rain jacket, just regular old REI, water, so it'll be waterproof. Of course, that means water resistant pants. That also doubles for warmth. This time I'm not bringing any long pants at all, no zip offs, just a pair of shorts, lightweight shorts, and so I'll use those for warmth if I need them. Temperatures are supposed to be, like the lows are in the low 60s, so not too much worried about that, so, except in the morning. I did not bring a puffy either, and that was by mistake, because normally I always take my puffy. However, no, I'll just layer up with the clothes I have and this rain jacket and get moving, and I should be good. So also part of the rain gear is pack. There's only about a 20% chance of rain the whole time, so the pack cover, and even this, unless it's cold, probably won't be used. In camp, I have a pair of cotton boxers and a cotton shirt. I know cotton kills, but when I get to camp, I like to be comfy after walking in these heathens all day right here that keeps things bunched up. So these are wicking underwear boxers. I think they're the 9-inch. All right, and so I've got 2 pairs of silk liners and 3 pairs of darn tough socks, one of which I'll be wearing. The other will be for camp, and the other will be to change out the next day when these have gotten too sweaty. Likewise with my liners, I'll alternate days with those. I always bring my buff with me. This is actually a new buff that I got from my Yellowstone trip, where I took the fam out west, and hopefully you saw those videos. They're pretty cool with the Glacier Park and Yellowstone and Grand Tetons and Zion and all that neat stuff. So anyway, take a look at those, but also got the rag just for wiping stuff down. I'll wear one shirt, and then I'll have another shirt for a spare. So that is pretty much the balance of the clothing that I have. Oh, well, I will have a long shirt or that I can roll the sleeves up here that I always bring, which is a wicking shirt as well. So that and my shoes. And I've also changed my liners because I was having foot problems. So my liners, I've gone to these O-Fits, and this is the first trip they've been out. I've been walking around with them. They're by Oboes. I've been walking around with them at work because I wear boots at work, and then I also wear regular shoes, or actually Moab ventilators. So this is the first hiking trip I've taken them on. So I'll give you a review after that and let you know how my feet, but typically my feet are hurt or just they feel terrible at night in the arch. So I'll let you know about that. So that is the clothing that I have. Of course, I have food bag over here, cook kit here, extra fuel there, long handled spork there, water filtration there. I have learned that the north side of the Smokies is supposed to be good with water. We'll talk more about that on the trail. This is my pot koozie that's actually a Ziploc bag, freezer bag, cook, rather than dirty up my pot. I just boil water in the pot and stick it in there. So toilet paper, I am not going to run out of toilet paper. Trowel, what else we got here? So we got first aid kit. One of the things that I've added to my first aid kit is some, I believe it's Zequel, I believe is what it's called, or Sleep Ease or something. Anyway, something specifically to help me sleep. I sleep terrible on the trail, toss and turn all night. Part of that is because I've recently learned I've been diagnosed with sleep apnea. So that's part of the reason that I stopped breathing and I toss and turn to wake myself up. But hopefully this is going to help that because I've never slept good on the trail. So hopefully that is going to help with that. So that's pretty much the ancillary items I've got there. Electronics kit, so I got my Anchor battery brick there for charging that. Microphone, if I extend, then if I decide to use that. Stick pick, tripod, and I'll leave a link to all these things that you can get on Amazon, so you can go and look more at the specifications. And if you want to buy one, wonderful, buy one. I'll get a penny or 2 cents worth if you do. But the point is, I give you the Amazon link so you can go and look at the specifications of this stuff. And let's see. So my sleeping system is my Aegis Max sleeping bag, but it's actually more like a quilt because it's got a foot box to it. The zipper doesn't zip all the way down. Now, I have a review on that, and I did that review because when I originally bought the Aegis Max, it was sold to me more and advertised that it had a better lower rating than it did. Since then, they have changed that rating to more appropriate. I've had it in 50 before, and it's comfortable. Fine with that. So that is probably my summer bag for the time being, and it does fine with that. And this is my Lazy Bear from the Big Blue Mountain folks. This is their pillow that I always take, a little big. Takes up a little more space, just a little heavier than my blow-up pillow, but boy, is it comfy. And I get a lot better sleep at night. And they've also changed their stuff bag for it. It's a lot better than what they originally had. So I'll do a review on that eventually. This is my wicking liner that goes with my Aegis Max. And this really makes a difference as far as R value, believe it or not. If I were just to use the Aegis Max, it would be a little chilly, but if I got this, it actually, I guess it holds in some of the heat, so it makes a difference. And then I've got a Tyvek that I roll that down. That's actually my tent ground cloth, but it suffices for ground cloth in the shelter. Since I'm in the Smokies, I have to sleep in the shelters, and so I'll use that to keep it off the floor, because the shelters are kind of dirty. And then also, this is a new purchase. I'll let you know how this goes. This is my Big Agnes Axle Air insulated blow-up inflatable pad. I had this as the maiden voyage of it, so I haven't used it. My other one, when I was out, had some problems with it, and I will talk about that in a later video. So I have ditched it and bit off a little bit of extra cash for that, and we'll see how that goes. So I got my wallet with my cash and one charge card and ID, and a couple things I'm adding this time. Very little weight from a well-known ultralight pack company that I will not mention their name. However, I am going to try their pads. These are additional pads that you add to your existing pads. I've been getting rubbed a little bit there, and my pads on my Exos just don't really seem to, they're not meaty enough, and the big thing is they don't extend down this way. I mean, that stops at my shoulders, but here at my chest, I'm still getting eaten up by this, and there's just not much padding in there. So I'm going to try that, put these pads down here on both sides, and hopefully that will alleviate that discomfort I'm getting. And then this is a water bottle holder. Before, I've always had my water bottle in the side pocket, waist pocket. So I've seen a lot of people use these on the trail, so that's going to fit. I'm not exactly sure yet. Somehow it goes down in the top of this somehow or something. I'll figure that out tonight as I'm getting ready to go to bed, but I'll figure that out. Anyway, I'm going to try that, and we'll see how that works. So that is my loadout plan for this trip. If you got any questions, leave a comment down there. I'll be glad to answer any of that. Did not go over my food, and perhaps we'll do that later from the trail. All right, folks, let's get back to the trail. All right, so that is my loadout. That's my kit for this trip. As I went through there's two items that I left off that I did not bring that I always bring. And if you've ever seen another section hike from me, you know that I always bring those two items. One of them in particular that most everybody brings. So if you will go and leave us down in the comment section and tell me what those two items were, or tell me what one of those items were. Whoever does that first, then I will send you an all expense paid, no shipping and handling charge, Appalachian Trail AT sticker. And we'll send that to you, and you can let me know what your address is offline or instant messenger, and be glad to send that to you as a little prize, a little giveaway for contributing to the hiker community. So in any case, I'm going to go ahead and fix me some chow now, and we might talk later, we might not. All right, so just leaving Pecks Corner Shelter. Spent the night there. As usual, it was a very restless night. It was tossed and turned all night. The meds did not help out one iota. But Met some guys there, father and son. James was one of them. I can't remember the others. Sorry about that if you're watching this, guys. I'm terrible with names. But great people. They enjoyed their food and came well prepared. So they were what you might consider to be gourmet hikers, but they ate well, offered me some, and I'd already eaten, was full, and then got up this morning and brushed my teeth. So I went ahead and got out of camp. But I appreciate it, guys, and nice meeting you. So the hike up from Pecks Corner Shelter is uphill. Pecks Corner is 4/10 of a mile uphill from the trail, and then of course there's a big up right when you hit the trail, which I'm on now. But I'm filming, breaking my no filming on ups rule, because other than breathing like I need to be in a oxygen tent, I'm feeling good this morning. So even though I had a lack of sleep, but trails, I wanted y'all to see this. Right now there's a lot of fog. Looks like it might burn off, but the trail woods are always kind of mystical for me in the morning when they are foggy like this. Didn't have any animal trouble down at Pecks Corner. I did get stung, or some type of caterpillar landed on my neck, and the time I got him off, they must secrete some type of something that keeps animals from eating them, because it stung. Anyhow, that was the only animal encounter I had. The first water's not running good. That's right off the main trail. You have to go past the shelter to get to it, and it's not running great, but it's running good enough. I could fill up a 2-liter bag in 5 minutes. So yeah, it's not like I'm in a giant hurry. All right, thought you might enjoy this while I'm chatting you up the woods. I think I might be coming to a view up here, or what's supposed to be a view, but the valley's gonna be socked in, and just hadn't had time to burn off yet. So that's pretty much what it looks like. You can maybe see some darkness in there, which is the mountains on the other side, so means tell me it's not gonna be in here all day. All right, we'll keep on going. So when you're walking right along the spine of the Appalachians, occasionally you'll get a break and you get views like this. That is just awesome. Even though you can't see very far, you're just right on the spine of this mountain, and the rocks I'm on, it's just awesome. The upheaval that occurred here that structured these mountains, and how as the continents banged into each other, they wrinkled everything up like you'd wrinkle a blanket pushing on it across the bed or something. But I don't know, the we don't have much color, and I'm not sure if the yellows are coming out because it's been so dry or because it's getting that time of year, but still awesome. I noticed a lot of these coniferous trees here, you see the leaf drop or the needle drop that's occurring. Well, that's because of the dry conditions. So literally you're just walking right along the spine because you saw the drop off over there, and then it drops off over here straight down. And unfortunately, YouTube nor Android has developed the ability to have 4D or smell-o-vision along with it, but as I go into this forest right here, I wish you could smell it. It smells like Christmas. Like, that's all. I don't know if these are balsam or spruce or what type of trees they are. Maybe somebody else out there knows. If you do, let me know. But send me a comment so we all know. But breathe that in. It just smells like a newly cut Christmas tree. All right, we'll keep on going. Next stop, a view. Okay, so I passed Glucose about 1.5 miles so back. I was in an up, so I had to wait till I got on this down before I could film. But anyway, he was about 1.5 miles back. He had 13 days left, so that's awesome. He had hiked a little bit with Beanpot, the fellow you had seen there in the other interview, and of course Beanpot had 9, so he was going a little quicker. But Glucose started on June 15th, so Katahdin didn't open, I think, until the 25th, I believe. They were later opening this year than normal. And so he said that he started at KSC, Katahdin Stream Campground, and hiked down to, can't remember how far he got, but it was, starts with a C. I know, I'll think of a minute and put it down here on the screen. But anyway, he was out of Maine, past Monson, so he must have been in New Hampshire. Caratuck, I think that's in New Hampshire. I think that's right. Hiked down there. Then when Katahdin opened up, he flipped back up, summited Katahdin, then flipped back down and caught him back to Caratuck. He said there was a group of 7 women that did that, and they're still all on the trail. They're kind of spread out, so said most of his folks were a couple days behind him. There were 3 that were a day behind him, so I may run into them tonight at the shelter. We'll see, because I'm coming to them, they're coming to me. The closing speed of 6 miles an hour roughly, and so he said they thought they were in the park, so I may actually pass them, but we'll see. Anyway, Glucose, if you get this, good luck to you. Congratulations. Hope you make it all the way, and look forward to seeing that picture. All right, Jolly Mike. All right, so I just left Pecks Corner Shelter, where I stopped for lunch. A couple through hikers in there. Frenchie and Blister. Blister claims he got his trail name because of foot ailments and how fast he is. Frenchie was from France. They say they'll be done in 11 days. No. Is that right? Maybe it said 13 days. No, that was Beanpot. They say they're going to be done in 11. So, but they have hiked around Beanpot, so they think Beanpot's probably going to get done quicker than what he's saying. But anyway, they're going into resupply today at Gatlinburg. Interesting, and what's really interesting about them was that they were number 2 and 3 for check-in at Harper's Ferry. So that means now Beanpot didn't check in. And he said there's 2 or 3 other people in front of him. So that means that I'm running into the leading edge of Sobo folks. Of course, not everybody stops at Harper's Ferry and gets a number, just like everybody doesn't stop at Amicalola Falls and get a Nobo number. But I would say the majority probably do. So it's a pretty good indication of where I'm at with Sobo. They started on the 1st, June 1st, I believe it was, whatever the month was at Katahdin opened. Yeah, I think that was June. Of course, Katahdin opened late, and so he made it all the way, not Frenchie, but Blister made it all the way down into Vermont, and then flipped back up, summited, and then flipped back down. Frenchie did not flip back up, and it didn't mean anything for him. In his words, it was just a one-wall mountain. That kind of sounded more German than it did French, but I'm terrible with accents. Yeah. So Frenchie had done some, hiked in New Zealand, some long trail there, and hiked in Europe, of course, some long trails, but nothing this long. So anyway, they're finishing up. None of them did social media, so didn't really do an interview with them. So far, nobody's done social media, and so we can't really track them. All right, I'm heading on now to my eventual final destination of Davenport Shelter, not Davenport, correction, Cosby Knob Shelter. We'll probably chat before then. Okay, so I have reached the place called the Helipad, which was actually an old helipad that they cleared this area, and actually it's like they poured concrete here for, maybe that was an outline of some letters or something, but anyway, this was a helipad. I guess they could call in rescue or something like that. Probably still could use it, but it's not maintained anymore. Be a great place for views, but it's pretty much socked in. Got some decent views. When I first got here, the clouds are like rolling through. You can see them boiling up over there a little bit. They're actually rolling through this gap. That was pretty neat. Otherwise, that's all there is to this place. I'm about 5 miles from the shelter. So that's been getting there plenty early to get a spot. The guy at the last shelter where I was, as I was leaving, he was coming in at Tri-Corner. He said that he was supposed to stay there, but he was coming on to Cosby Knob, which of course you're not supposed to do. Here comes a cloud. Which of course you're not supposed to do in the Smokies. You're supposed to go where you're registered, because you run the risk of, if he gets there, then there may not be enough bunk space for him, and if he gets there before somebody coming late at night that is registered, well then somebody else is going to spend the night on the floor. So we'll see if it runs the way it's been running since my hiking in the Smokies. There'll be less people there than's registered. Although when I talked to Glucose back there, he said, through hiker, he said that he was at Cosby and it was a packed house last night. So we'll see. Alright, we will sally forth. Alright, so I just left the crash site. Met a couple, they were looking for it. Actually, I stopped the trail junction coming up from Cosby Campground and spoke with them, took their picture for me to sign, and they started talking about the crash. Well, I wanted to stop and look at it, but I thought it was on the other side of Cosby, so I got to looking at gut hooks, and I'd passed it by about a quarter mile. So took off my pack and we went and found it. Here's a picture of it. It's pretty unremarkable find, as far as there's no aircraft or anything. Can't really tell what type it is. Its markings are olive drab. The gentleman there said it was an F4 Phantom. Looked like it had some type of inlet guide vane piece, but you know, you don't have a clue looking at a bunch of pieces of bent up metal. But anyway, curiosity, it's worth taking off your pack and going down there. If you're heading sub-O, once you pass the Cosby Knob Campground intersection, it's up on your left, about a couple hundred yards, and you'll see a pretty beaten path down to it. If you look down, you can actually see parts of it from the trail. If you had no bow, it's a little harder. If you got gut hooks is right on the money with it. Otherwise, you just need to be looking for it. If you don't have gut hooks, you're not gonna be able to find it strictly by looking for it anyway. So you'll have to go to that intersection and then backtrack. So it's worth it just to see it, just to say you had another curiosity on the Appalachian Trail. So a lot of the AT was built over old logging roads. All these woods and everything around here, before they became a national park, were logged. Had the chestnut blight that came through and was killing the chestnut trees, which were a major timber source before the blight. And so rather than lose it, they just started clearing them and took them all out, pretty much, those that didn't die. And then along the way, they also took whatever else was in there. So they logged these woods, and I came across what looks like some type of trestle. Now it's built out of stone. I can only wonder if this was some type of light gauge railroad trestle, like a Shea locomotive or something like that. You can see that through the rhododendron, but that's rock retaining wall there. It's like it's wide enough for some type of small narrow gauge locomotive. There's grown over. So first time I've seen that on the trip, but it definitely didn't grow here like that. Something else on this trail, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but this section's been extraordinarily rocky. Compared to other sections I've done. Of course, as soon as I say that, I'm looking at dirt, but there's sections for miles that are just nothing but rock. Oh, here's a bit of that retaining wall again. I can't imagine them constructing this for the sole purpose of the AT. Anyway, it could have been for horse-drawn stuff too, instead of a light gauge or narrow gauge railroad. Skid row for horses and mules. Anyhow, now I'm coming on some rocks. So it's been very rocky compared to most of the sections I've been on before. So I don't know if it's this bad up in Rocksylvania or not, but if you're a thru hiker watching this, I'd love to have a comparison, because I've never hiked up in Rocksylvania. So it's definitely giving my insoles that my oboes insoles that I'll be doing a review on. It's giving them a run for their money. Alright, let me know. Well, it started raining before I got to this shelter. I was about a mile and a quarter out. Thought I'd beat it. And hard terrain. Of course, I was on a up that would not quit going up. And by the time I decided to put on my pack cover and my rain gear, I was already sopping wet. So at this point, it's pointless. Got a trash bag in my pack, so my clothes, everything should be dry in there. Rest of them is sopping wet. Glasses are fogged up. Of course, I didn't bring my cat crap again, as usual. So can't see squat. Had to take them off. Hoping I don't lose them. But anyway, such is the life of a backpacker, eh? So I'm probably 3/10 of a mile from the shelter. Been a 13.8 mile days, and over rocky terrain. So this will probably be it for the night. I'm expecting folks to be in the shelter. I know there's one behind me that's coming. He's not actually registered. This shelter, he was registered for Tri-City Corner. That's where I met him as I was leaving for lunch, but he came this way anyway. So hopefully it won't be a packed house. All right. Well, if I don't see you, or if I don't chat with you before I get back on the trail in the morning, appreciate you, and we'll see you out here.